In a dramatic shift, Canada is considering abandoning its $13.2 billion F-35 fighter jet deal with the United States, marking potentially the biggest military procurement change in recent Canadian history. Prime Minister Mark Carney has directed an urgent review of the F-35 purchase agreement, citing escalating trade tensions with Washington. This follows U.S. tariffs on Canadian steel, aluminum, and agricultural products that have strained relations between the two nations. Canada needs to understand that it cannot trust the United States on everything, Carney stated, suggesting a reassessment of the F-35 project. Defense Minister Bill Blair confirmed Canada is exploring European fighter jet alternatives. The potential cancellation represents more than just a procurement decision. It signals a possible strategic pivot in Canada's defense relationships. The Saab Gripen, previously runner-up, could emerge as an alternative. This comes amid 2 years of deteriorating trade relations between Ottawa and Washington. The tensions, starting during the Trump administration, continue with disputes over automotive sector tariffs, dairy products, and steel quotas. It has become inevitable to reevaluate the F-35 purchase agreement, Blair stated during a Parliament Hill press conference. This indicates Ottawa's intention to diversify military suppliers and reduce U.S. defense reliance. The shift towards European manufacturers could represent the most significant change in Canadian defense procurement strategy in decades, affecting military cooperation between the North American allies. Analysts note that while the F-35 offers advanced stealth capabilities and NATO compatibility, European alternatives like the Eurofighter Typhoon or Rafale could provide comparable capabilities while reducing strategic dependence. The timing of these announcements, following bilateral trade discussions, suggests Ottawa is using the F-35 deal as leverage in broader trade negotiations with Washington. Breaking news: Canada considers major shift in defense strategy, questions $13 billion F-35 deal with U.S. In a significant development, Canada is reconsidering its $13 billion F-35 fighter jet purchase from the United States, amid escalating trade tensions, and following recent comments from Prime Minister Mark Carney's cabinet. The potential pivot towards European alternatives, particularly the Eurofighter Typhoon and French Rafale, signals a shift in Canada's military procurement strategy, potentially altering the long-standing defense relationship between the two North American neighbors. In the early 2010s, Canada had considered European options, but chose the F-35 for U.S. system integration benefits. The political landscape has shifted significantly since then. The F-35, with its fifth-generation stealth technology, is operated by allies including the UK, Italy, Australia, Norway, and Denmark. Canada planned to purchase 88 F-35s, with deliveries starting in 2026 to replace aging CF-18s. European manufacturers have highlighted their aircraft's versatility and lower maintenance costs. The Eurofighter Consortium, while acknowledging lower stealth capabilities, argues their solution better suits Canadian needs. French manufacturer Dassault promotes the Rafale's adaptability to Canadian conditions. Canada faces a complex decision. While geography ties Canadian defense to U.S. systems, recent trade disputes, particularly Trump-era tariffs, have strained relations. Canadian politicians question complete dependence on U.S. military hardware. The situation raises questions about Canada's strategic autonomy. Reopening the contract requires technical reevaluation, but frustration with U.S. trade policies may override practical considerations. As one Canadian official noted, "We have alternatives, and won't accept every policy imposed on us just because logistics are easy." This shift could represent the largest realignment in North American defense procurement in recent history. Here's a 1875-character news story based on the provided content. In a dramatic shift that could reshape North American defense relationships, Canada is seriously considering canceling its $13 billion F-35 fighter jet deal with the United States, exploring European alternatives amid escalating trade tensions. Defense Secretary Bill Blair's recent statement highlighted the growing strain. How we're treated by our trade and defense partners affects major tenders. We may need to consider a Plan B. This was echoed by Canada's foreign minister, who explicitly linked U.S. tariff pressures to potential strategic pivots. The alternatives under consideration include several European fighters: the Eurofighter Typhoon, jointly produced by the UK, Germany, Italy, and Spain; France's Rafale; and Sweden's Gripen. While these fourth-generation aircraft can't match the F-35's stealth capabilities, they might offer better cost-effectiveness and satisfy public opinion requirements. Pentagon sources, speaking off the record, warned that cancellation would severely impact bilateral relations. Canada is a close ally and F-35 program partner. We hope they won't back down from such a significant commitment, one official stated. This potential pivot represents more than just aircraft procurement. It signals Canada's broader strategy to reduce U.S. dependency in the post-NAFTA era. Sources indicate that Ottawa is exploring comprehensive European partnerships, including free trade agreements with the EU, defense cooperation with Britain, and joint arms development with France and Germany. Canadian experts argue that excessive U.S. dependency has become problematic during crises. We need to find our own way, says defense analyst Marie Thompson. Cancelling the F-35 would symbolically announce Canada's strategic independence. The Ottawa media's headline, saying goodbye to the F-35, might be premature, but it reflects growing sentiment for diversification. While no final decision has been made, the door to cancellation remains open, potentially marking a historic shift in North American defense relationships and Canada's military procurement strategy. In a dramatic shift of public sentiment, Canadians increasingly support cancelling the F-35 fighter jet deal with the United States, reflecting growing frustration over trade tensions and tariffs. Most citizens now favor European alternatives, refusing to yield to American pressure. U.S. officials expressed serious concerns on March 16, 2025, warning that such decisions could damage bilateral relations. The diplomatic situation has become increasingly tense, with analysts divided on whether Canada will maintain the deal or pursue alternatives. The situation extends beyond military procurement to trade relationships and territorial considerations. Ottawa's decision is expected within 2 months, with 2 scenarios: complete cancellation triggering U.S. tariffs or a diplomatic resolution. Canada's decade-long involvement in the F-35 program includes participation in design and technology development. European manufacturers, including Swedish Gripen, are positioning themselves as alternatives, with multiple countries expanding defense production. The Royal Canadian Air Force's preference for a 5th-generation aircraft remains crucial. Senior officials provide regular updates that vary between conciliatory and firm positions. European Union countries are using this opportunity to strengthen their defense industry presence in North America, potentially reshaping traditional alliances. The coming weeks could bring either Canada's withdrawal from the F-35 program or U.S. concessions on tariffs. This decision affects the entire spectrum of Canadian-American relations. The evaluation of alternatives considers technical capabilities, strategic partnerships, and economic factors. The key question remains whether European manufacturers can match the F-35's capabilities, while offering Canada greater strategic autonomy. In a significant shift that could reshape North American defense relationships, Canada is reconsidering its $13 billion F-35 fighter jet purchase from the United States. This development comes as reports reveal Canada's current Air Force readiness at only 40%. The Canadian Air Force's aging CF-18 Hornet fleet faces challenges, from maintenance issues to pilot shortages, raising questions about the nation's air defense capabilities. While the F-35 was initially seen as the natural choice due to NATO compatibility, trade tensions with the United States have prompted Ottawa to explore European alternatives. Defense analysts point to 3 European contenders: the Eurofighter Typhoon, Dassault Rafale, and Saab Gripen. The Eurofighter Typhoon, produced by the UK, Germany, Italy, and Spain, offers impressive air combat capabilities despite lacking the F-35's stealth features. Its long-range performance could prove valuable for Canadian territorial patrol missions. The timing coincides with a massive expansion in European defense production. EU member states are increasing their military budgets, with Germany, France, Italy, and Spain leading the charge. The European Commission's defense co-production initiatives could offer Canada more economical procurement options. Canadian defense officials are concerned about maintenance infrastructure and long-term operational readiness. As one Ottawa defense official noted, "If we're investing in such expensive aircraft, we need guarantees about their sustained operational capability." Recent experiences have forced us to question whether the United States remains our most reliable partner. This potential pivot from American to European military hardware represents more than just a procurement decision. It signals a possible strategic realignment in North American defense relationships. The outcome could influence military cooperation patterns across NATO for decades to come. In a significant development reshaping North American defense dynamics, Canada is evaluating European fighter jet alternatives to the American F-35, marking a potential shift in its military procurement strategy. This has captured attention across NATO alliance members and defense contractors worldwide. Let's examine the three main European contenders that could replace the $13 billion F-35 deal. First, the Eurofighter Typhoon, backed by a four-nation consortium, offers robust capabilities with lower maintenance costs than the F-35. However, its complex spare parts system and non-fifth-generation status raise questions about viability. The French-made Rafale emerges as another strong contender, boasting impressive multi-role capabilities. Despite lacking the F-35's stealth features, it compensates with superior aerodynamics and proven performance. Current operators, including India, Greece, and Egypt, report high satisfaction rates. The Rafale's twin-engine configuration suits Canada's vast northern territorial patrol requirements. Sweden's Gripen EF presents an alternative, marketed as a cost-effective solution designed for harsh winter conditions. Saab emphasizes its low maintenance costs, easy training requirements, and ability to operate from short runways. However, concerns exist about its lighter frame and single-engine design for Canada's missions. Canada might still consider other American options like the Boeing F-15X or FA-18EF Super Hornet. However, this would conflict with Ottawa's desire to reduce dependence on U.S. military hardware amid trade tensions. The decision carries significant implications for Canada's defense strategy and international relationships. While European alternatives offer competitive features and lower costs, questions remain about NATO integration and operational capabilities. Defense analysts worldwide are watching how Canada balances military needs with diplomatic considerations. In a significant shift that could reshape North American defense relationships, Canada is considering European alternatives to its planned $13 billion F-35 fighter jet purchase from the United States, amid escalating trade tensions. Military analysts are watching as Ottawa explores options including the Saab Gripen, Eurofighter Typhoon, and French Rafale jets. Each aircraft presents unique advantages for Canada's needs. The Swedish-made Gripen, popular in recent polls, offers benefits for Canada's harsh northern conditions. Its performance in Scandinavian climates, combined with low maintenance costs and high operational readiness, makes it attractive. However, it lacks the F-35's stealth capabilities. The Typhoon and Rafale offer robust performance with moderate maintenance costs. These European fighters could provide Canada with strategic autonomy while maintaining NATO compatibility. Canada's current aircraft readiness rate is just 40%. Any new fighter must improve this through easier maintenance and reliability. The timing coincides with increased European defense production and larger orders from EU nations, prompted by security concerns in Eastern Europe. European manufacturers suggest adding Canada could reduce costs and streamline logistics. This move could signal a broader strategic pivot toward Europe, building on the recent CETA trade agreement. Questions remain about the impact on U.S. Canada defense cooperation, including NORAD operations. Some analysts suggest this could be a negotiating tactic by Canada to address U.S. tariff disputes. If successful, it might lead to a compromise preserving both the F-35 deal and bilateral relations. The final decision will reflect both technical requirements and geopolitical considerations, potentially marking a historic shift in North American defense partnerships. In today's breaking news, Canada faces a crucial decision that could reshape its military and diplomatic landscape. The $13 billion F-35 fighter jet deal with the United States hangs in the balance as tensions between the North American allies continue to simmer. Industry experts suggest that if Ottawa proceeds with a rapid tender process, a new procurement decision could be reached within 12 to 24 months. However, the situation is more complex than a simple equipment purchase, with multiple stakeholders raising concerns. Canadian aerospace giant Bombardier has emerged as a key voice in this debate. Company executives warn that canceling the F-35 deal could have severe repercussions for Canadian-American industrial cooperation. As a subcontractor for Lockheed Martin projects and a player in the U.S. market, Bombardier stands to lose substantial business if relations sour. Fighting with the United States would hurt us significantly, warned a senior industry representative, highlighting the economic relationships at stake. This perspective adds weight to arguments that canceling the F-35 contract could prove costly for Ottawa. However, alternative scenarios are emerging. Some analysts suggest that increased European Union defense production could offer new opportunities. If Canada pivots toward European partnerships, companies like Bombardier might find integration possibilities in European defense programs. The Canadian government faces pressure from various economic and strategic actors pulling in different directions. Each option carries its own set of risks and rewards, making this decision particularly challenging for policymakers. In the coming weeks, the government is expected to announce its final decision on the F-35 contract, potentially marking a historic shift in Canada's defense procurement strategy and international relationships.